Someone taught you a lie about investing, not on purpose, not out of cruelty, but a lie nonetheless. And it has been quietly costing you money, possibly for years, without you ever realizing it. The lie sounds completely reasonable. It sounds responsible. It sounds like the kind of advice a caring parent or a trustworthy teacher would give you. And that is exactly what makes it so dangerous. The lie is this: wait until you know enough before you start investing. Wait until you understand the market. Wait until you have more money. Wait until things are more stable. Wait until you feel ready. And most people wait, and wait, and wait some more. And while they are waiting, something is happening that nobody warned them about. Something silent, something invisible, something that does not send a bill or a notification or a warning, but something that costs more than almost any financial mistake a person can make. Today we are going to talk about what that thing is and why the most dangerous financial decision most people ever make is the one they think they are not making at all. Meet Bilal. He is 27 years old, has a decent job, saves a little every month, and has been meaning to start investing for about 3 years now. He has done some research, watched some videos, read some articles, knows what an index fund is, understands roughly how compound interest works. But every time he gets close to actually doing it, something stops him. What if the market crashes right after I invest? What if I pick the wrong thing? What if I lose everything? I should probably learn more first. I will start next month when I feel more confident. Next month becomes next year. Next year becomes 3 years. And Bilal is still sitting on the sidelines, not because he is lazy, not because he does not care, but because he was taught that waiting until you are ready is the responsible thing to do. It is not. And here is why. There is a concept in investing called the cost of waiting, and it is one of the most brutal mathematical realities in all of personal finance. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine two people. Both are starting with the same amount of money. Both are going to invest in the exact same thing. The only difference is when they start. Person A starts at 25. Person B starts at 35. Both invest the same amount every month until they are 60. By the time they both reach 60, person A has roughly double the money of person B. Not 10% more, not 50% more. Double, sometimes more. Not because person A was smarter, not because person A picked better investments, simply because person A started 10 years earlier and let compounding do its work for a decade longer. That 10-year gap, those 10 years of waiting, cost person B an enormous amount of money they will never get back. Not because of anything they did wrong after they started, but because of the time they lost before they began. This is the cost of waiting, and it is invisible right up until the moment it is not. Now here is the psychological part, and this is where it gets really interesting. Why do smart, capable, well-intentioned people like Bilal keep waiting even when they know they should start? The answer is something called the illusion of preparation. Our brains are wired to feel more comfortable taking action when we feel prepared. This makes sense for most things in life. You study before an exam. You practice before a performance. You prepare before something important. But investing is fundamentally different from almost every other skill, because the single most valuable thing in investing is not knowledge, it is time. And time only starts working for you when you actually begin. Studying investing more does not earn you a single dollar. Being invested, even imperfectly, even in the simplest possible way, earns you money every single day the market grows. The illusion of preparation tells your brain, I am doing something productive by learning more. I am being responsible by waiting until I am ready. But what your brain does not feel, because it is invisible, is the compounding growth that is not happening while you wait. Every month you spend preparing instead of investing is a month of compounding you will never recover. The market does not pause while you get ready. It keeps moving, and it moves without you. There is a second lie hiding inside the first one, and it is this: you need a lot of money to start investing. This belief stops more people than almost anything else. They think investing is for people who have spare thousands sitting around. They think you need a serious amount of capital before it is even worth beginning. This is completely false, and it is one of the most expensive misconceptions in personal finance. Modern investing allows you to start with almost nothing. Many platforms let you begin with the equivalent of a few cups of coffee per month. The amount is almost irrelevant at the beginning. What matters, overwhelmingly, is that you start. Because starting is what begins the clock. A tiny amount invested today is worth infinitely more than a large amount invested 10 years from now. Not just a little more, infinitely more. Because the 10 years of compounding that the tiny amount gets, the large amount never recovers. Here is a metaphor that makes this very clear. Imagine two farmers. Both want to grow a tree. Farmer A plants a small seed today. It is not a great seed. It is just whatever he had available. Farmer B waits 5 years to find the perfect seed, the best possible variety, the ideal conditions, the perfect time of year. Farmer B plants a better seed, but Farmer A's tree has been growing for 5 years already. It has roots, it has height, it has momentum. Farmer B's perfect seed will never catch up to Farmer A's ordinary seed, simply because of when each one was planted. Your first investment is Farmer A's seed. It does not need to be perfect. It does not need to be large. It just needs to go in the ground. Now, here is the insight that changes everything. Most people think the goal of investing is to make the right decision, to pick the right stock, to time the market correctly, to find the perfect moment to begin. But the data, decades of it, tells a completely different story. Study after study shows that the investors who make the most money over a lifetime are not the ones who made the cleverest decisions. They are the ones who started earliest and stayed longest. They are the ones who invested consistently, even in bad markets, even in uncertain times, even when it felt wrong, and simply did not stop. Time in the market beats timing the market every single time, without exception. There is a famous piece of research that looked at what would happen if you were the world's worst market timer, if you invested a lump sum every single year, but always at the absolute peak of the market, right before every crash, the worst possible timing every single time. Even that investor, the one with the worst luck in the world, ended up wealthy over a 30-year period, not because of skill, not because of timing, because of time. That is how powerful starting early is. It is so powerful that even the worst possible timing cannot cancel it out when you have enough of it. Here is your practical takeaway. Stop waiting to feel ready. You will never feel completely ready. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a decision. Start with whatever you have. Open the simplest investment account available to you. Put in whatever amount feels manageable, even if it feels embarrassingly small. Choose the most straightforward option, a basic index fund that tracks the overall market, and set up an automatic contribution every month. Then do the hardest thing of all. Leave it alone. Do not check it every day. Do not panic when it drops. Do not celebrate when it rises. Just let time do the one thing that no amount of research or preparation can replace. The goal of your first investment is not to get rich quickly. The goal is to start the clock. Because once the clock is running, it works for you whether you are watching or not. Bilal finally opened his investment account on a Tuesday afternoon. Nothing special about that Tuesday. The market was not at a perfect low. He did not have a large amount to deposit. He had not finished learning everything he thought he needed to know. He just decided that waiting was costing him more than starting. He put in a small amount, set up a monthly automatic transfer, chose a simple index fund, and closed the app. 3 years later, he had not become rich. But he had something he never had before. A number that was growing without him doing anything. A financial life that was moving forward instead of standing still. And the permanent knowledge that the most important investing decision he ever made was simply the decision to begin. Here is the thought I want to leave you with. 10 years from now, you will either look back and be grateful you started today, or you will wish with everything you have that you had. The market will go up and down between now and then. Things will feel uncertain. There will always be a reason to wait just a little longer. But time does not wait. And compounding does not pause for your preparation. The lie you were taught, that waiting is responsible, that starting later with more knowledge is smarter, has already cost you something. The only question is how much more you are willing to let it take. Your move. If this video opened your eyes to something important, hit the like button. It genuinely helps more people find this content who need to hear it. And our next video is one you absolutely cannot miss. We are going deep on the psychological reason most people stay stuck at the same income level for years, and the one shift that finally breaks the pattern for good. See you there.